What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a workflow that analyzes client feedback automatically right here in Anychain. Let's get started. In Anychain, I've created a workflow that I've renamed to Client Feedback Analyzer. Here, we're going to add a trigger. Our trigger is going to be an on-form submission right here. So I'll click on this node, and here I'm going to add the title, form description, and form elements that would like to our clients to fill out is it for them to provide us feedback on our services. Now here, I'll open this node, and the title of our form could be on the lines of client feedback and experience survey. Our form description could be on the lines of we'd love to hear about your experience working with us. This quick form takes just 2 to 3 minutes to complete. And then here we're adding a couple of form elements that would like our clients to fill out as they provide feedback on our services. The first field is we're asking them what is your name, and here they're going to provide their name. We're also asking them to provide the email address. Here we are asking them the type of service that they use in our agency or company, and here we are listing a couple of services that we offer in our business. Could be onboarding, tax filing, automation building, and more. The other field that we're adding is what did you like most about the experience, and here they're going to fill out the experience, the services. The other field that we're adding is what didn't go as expected or could be better, and here they're going to write what could be improved in our business or in our services. The other field that we are adding is do you have any suggestions to improve our services? And here they're going to outline the suggestions. The other field that we're adding over here, if you could change one thing about your experience, what would it be? And here they're going to explain what they will change about our services. And lastly, we're asking them if they will recommend us to others. And here they're going to provide us either yes or no with a simple explanation on why they will either recommend or not recommend us to others over here. So now let us fill out our form. To fill out our form, I'll click on execute step right here. Now here, I'm going to fill out our form. Here I'm going to fill out our name, our email, type of service or product that our customer used. Here we're also going to add what they liked the most about the experience. We're also going to add what didn't go as expected right here. Any suggestions, we're going to add them right here. If there is anything they will change, they're going to add it right here. And here we're going to add if they will recommend us to others. Here I'll click on submit our form. You can see that our form was submitted. Now, when I open our node right here, you can see we captured our information right here. We captured our name, email, type of service, what the customer liked the most about our services, what didn't go as expected, any suggestions, and if there's anything they will change, if they recommend us to others, and when the form was submitted. So here I'll click on back to Canvas and pin that information right here to continue setting up our workflow. Now the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to wait a few seconds. Here, for example, we can wait, let's say 5 seconds to give our form some time to populate the client's feedback. So here, I rename this to wait 5 seconds, and then click on rename. And now the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to analyze the client feedback using an AI agent. So in AI, I'm going to click on AI agent right here. First of all, here we can execute this node over here and add the chat model over here. The chat model, we're going to use OpenAI chat model over here. And here, you need to create a connection between your OpenAI and Anychain. I'm going to create a new credential, and from your OpenAI API, add your API key right here. Then click on save to create your credential. Since I had already done that, I'm going to choose my credential right here and choose a model. The model I'm going to choose GPT 4.1 mini, and here I'm going to click on back to Canvas. Here you can also add a memory. I'm going to add a simple memory. Here I'm going to define below, and here we can add when the form was submitted right here. And then here I'll click on back to Canvas. And then now we can add a prompt for our AI agent. So I'll open this agent, and here I'm going to choose to define below and add our prompt over here. Now the prompt for this agent could be in the lines of you're an AI assistant designed to analyze customer feedback and extract meaningful insights. Here I'll add an option and add a system message right here. I'll click on expression, expand it right here, so we can add our system message over here. System message could be in the lines of carefully read the feedback provided and return a structured JSON response that includes sentiment, key issues mentioned, suggestions made, and summary. So for the sentiment, we'd like to indicate whether the overall tone of the feedback is positive, neutral, or negative. For the key issues mentioned, we'd like to identify specific problems, complaints, or challenges highlighted in the feedback, if any. For the suggestions made, we'd like to extract any ideas or proposals the customer offers to improve service or product. For the summary, we'd like to provide a clear and concise one-sentence summary that captures the essence of the feedback. And here we add in the client feedback, where we add in the name, email, service type, client experience, what didn't go as expected, any suggestions to improve our services, one thing they will change, and if they will recommend us to others over here. So here I'll click on back to canvas, and here we're going to require a specific output format. Here I'll click on output parser, and then here I'll click on structured output parser and add a JSON output example. So here we like to output our result in this JSON format, where we're outputting the sentiment, if it's either positive, negative, or neutral. We also like to output the issues raised, suggestions, and a one-line summary of the feedback here. So here I'll click on back to canvas. You can organize this to look pretty. In this agent, I'm going to rename it to client feedback analyzer. Then click on rename here. So now here I'll open this node and execute it to analyze the feedback that our client filled out in our form over here. You can see our node was executed successfully. Here we're getting the sentiment as positive. We're also outlining the issues raised by the customer and the suggestions over here and the one-line summary of the feedback. So our agent works perfectly. This is awesome. Now the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to wait a few seconds to add the feedback, the analyzed feedback, to a Google Sheet. So here you can wait, let's say 3 seconds. So here I'll wait 3 seconds, click on back to canvas right here, and here I'll rename this to wait 3 seconds. Then here I'll click on rename, and then now we can proceed to add our analyzed feedback to a Google Sheet. So in Google Sheet, I've created a spreadsheet that I've renamed to analyze customer feedback. Here we have 2 sheets, one for positive customer feedback and the other one for negative customer feedback. So for the positive customer feedback, we're going to add it right here, and for the negative customer feedback, we're going to add it over here. For each of our sheet, we're going to add the name, email, survey, sentiment, issues raised, suggestions, and summary of the feedback over here. To add our analyzed feedback to our spreadsheet, we'll need to determine whether the feedback is either positive or negative first. So here, we're going to add an if-else node over here. Click on back to canvas to, first of all, execute this node over here. And then here, I'll open this node over here. And then, first of all, we can add is the sentiment is equal to positive. So if it's positive, we're going to add sentiment in our positive shape. So here, I'll click on back to canvas, and here I'll search for Google Sheets. And here I'll click on Google Sheets, and here I'll click on append row in shape. Here we're going to find our document, which is the analyzed customer feedback document. And here we're going to find our sheet. We're adding a positive customer feedback sheet, so I'll choose a positive customer feedback sheet right here. And then here we're going to map our columns in our spreadsheet with the customer feedback data that they fill out on the form, and we analyze using our AI agent. So for the name, we're going to grab the name from our form right here. Email, we're going to map it right here. Service, we're going to drag it right here. Sentiment, we're going to get it from our node right here. Issues raised, I'm going to drag the issues raised right here. Suggestions, I'm going to drag over here. And lastly, we're going to drag the summary over here. Now to add our data to our spreadsheet, I'll click on execute step. You can see it's executing our node. And our node was executed successfully, and we successfully added the positive customer feedback to our spreadsheet right here. So we added the name, email, service, sentiment, issues raised, suggestions, and the summary over here. So I'll click on back to canvas right here, and here I'll rename this to positive feedback. Then here I'll click on rename. And now we can also notify our team via email that we got a positive feedback from our client. And choose to notify our team via Gmail, Slack, Telegram, or the platform that you use for communication with your team. I'm going to choose Gmail, search for Gmail, then click on send a message node right here. Now, here we can add the email address to our team. Subject line of this email could be on the lines of new positive client feedback received. Email type will be text, and the message could be on the lines of, hi team, we just received some great feedback from a client and I wanted to share it with you all. Here we're adding the sentiment, summary, issues raised, and suggestions right here. Then we're concluding the email by saying great work to everyone involved. Let's keep pushing forward and continuously improving based on the valuable input. Whereas paid, here I'm going to click on back to canvas. The last thing that we're going to do here is I'll click on add option and click on append and intent attribution and turn this node to off over here. And here I'll execute node to notify our team of the client feedback. You can see our node was executed successfully over here. So here I'll rename this to team notification. And then here I'll click on rename. And then the next thing that we can do here is we can wait a few seconds. Let's say 2 seconds. I can rename this to wait 2 seconds. Okay. So we can thank the client for filling out our form, providing feedback, and giving us suggestions for what we can improve in our services. So we're going to notify them via Gmail. So I'll click on Gmail, and here I'll click on send a message node. Here I'll click on back to canvas, so we can execute this node first. And now I'll open this node over here. And then for their email, we're going to grab the email that they filled out in a form over here. And email type will be text. And here I'll add the subject line and the email body. Now, subject line for email could be in the lines of thank you for your feedback. Then the message body could be in the lines of hi name. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your feedback with us. We truly appreciate it. We are thrilled to hear you had a positive experience. It's always encouraging to know that our work is making a meaningful impact. Your kind words motivates us to continue delivering quality services. We also appreciate the suggestions you included. Every insight helps us improve, and we've shared your comments with the team for review. If there is ever anything more we can do to support you, do not hesitate to reach out. We're always here to help. Thanks again for being part of our journey. Warm regards, Pete. So here, this could be the email that we're sending to our clients after they filled out our form. So here, I'll rename this to client message right here. When I open my email inbox, here you can see the message that we are sending to our team. Here, here's the subject line, and this is the body of our email. We're also including the sentiment, summary, issues raised, and suggestions over here. So this is the team notification that we are sending to our team. If the client feedback is positive, you can see the thank you email that we're sending to our client after they filled out our form right here. We're sending them this thank you message over here. So we can remove this anytime notification right here. So I'll open this node. And then here I'll click on add option. Then in append anytime attribution, I'm going to turn it to off. Then we can execute this step one more time. Now when I open our email, you can see now we do not have the anytime notification here. So this is a thank you email that we're sending to our client after they fill out our form, thanking them for filling out the form and giving us suggestions over here. Our workflow works perfectly. So we can try filling out our form again with negative feedback from a client. So we can set up the negative branch over here. So to do that, I'll unpin this data. And then here, I'll click on execute workflow to fill out our form. Then in our form here, we're going to fill out our name, email, type of service, what the client liked the most about our services, what didn't go as expected, if they have any suggestions, if they will change anything in our services, and if they will recommend us to others. So here I'll click on submit. You can see our form was submitted here. You can see that our workflow was executed successfully. Yeah, when I open this node, we captured our client information here. We captured the name, email, type of service, what they like the most about our services, didn't go as expected, if they have any suggestions to improve our services, if they will change a thing about the experience, and if they will recommend us to others. So we captured their feedback, then waited a few seconds to analyze their feedback using our AI agent right here. Here, you can see the sentiment was the neutral one. Then here you can see our sentiment, issues raised, suggestions, and the summary that our AI agent gave us right here. We waited a few seconds, and using our if-else node right here, we categorize the feedback in the false branch right here. So if the sentiment is either neutral or negative, we're going to classify it as negative right here. So now here we can proceed to add the feedback to our spreadsheet. So here I'll search for Google Sheets and click on Google Sheets right here. And here I'll click on append drawing sheet. Here we're going to find our document, which is this document right here. I'm going to choose to add the feedback to the negative customer feedback sheet. And here we're going to map our data to our columns in our spreadsheet. Drag the name right here. Email, we're going to drag the email right here. For the service, we're going to drag it right here. Sentiment, we're going to add the sentiment right here. Issues raised, we're going to drag the issues raised right here. Suggestions, we're going to map them right here. And lastly, we're going to map the summary over here. So to add our feedback to our spreadsheet, I'll click on execute step right here. You can see it's executing our node. And it successfully added our data to our spreadsheet. So now when I open our negative customer feedback sheet, you can see we added our customer feedback over here. So we added the name, email, survey, sentiment, the issues they raised, the suggestions, and the summary of the feedback over here using our workflow over here. So here I rename this to negative feedback, and here I'll click on rename over here. Then here we can also notify our team that we got a negative feedback from a client. I'm going to search for Gmail, then click on Gmail. Then here I'm going to click on send a message note. I'm going to drag it right here. You can rename this to team notification negative. You can rename this to team notification positive. And here I'll click on rename. Now here I'll open this node. And here we're going to add the email to our team members. The subject line of the email could be in the lines of negative, client feedback, action needed. Email type will be text, and the message of this email could be in the lines of hi team. We've received a piece of client feedback that was marked as negative sentiment, and I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention so we can take steps to improve. Here we're going to add the sentiment over here, summary over here, the issues mentioned. I'm going to add them over here. And the suggestions over here. So we're going to map them over here. Yeah. Let's take this opportunity to review the setup process and explore possible performance optimizations. Please feel free to reply here if you have ideas or insights on how we can address this point. Thanks, Pete. Here, I'll click back to Canvas and we can notify our team by clicking on execute step right here. You can see our node was executed successfully and we send the notification to our team. Now we can also wait a few seconds to not send a thank you email to the client for filling out our form. So here we can wait, let's say 4 seconds. Click on back to Canvas and then I'll rename this to wait 4 seconds. Then here I'll click on rename. Now we can send, so I'll duplicate this node here. Then here I'll rename it to negative client message. So here I'll rename this to client message negative. Can rename this to client message positive to separate the two nodes. Then here I'll click on rename. Open this node right here. Can first of all execute this is a wait node. Then I'll open this node right here. Now here I'm going to leave everything as is except the subject line and the message body. Now the subject line of this email could be in the lines of thank you for your honest feedback. The message that we're sending to our client could be in the lines of hi, and then here we're going to add the name. So we're going to grab the name from our form. Thank you for taking the time to share your feedback. We truly value your honesty. We are sorry to hear that your experience didn't fully meet your expectations. Your insights have been noted and shared with our team for immediate review. We also appreciate your suggestions. Feedback like yours help us identify where we can do better and strengthen our commitment to continuous improvement. Please know we are actively looking into this and we are grateful for your patience as we work to improve your experience. If there's anything else you'd like to share or clarify, we are all ears. Warm regards, Pete. And here, click on back to Canvas. And then I'll execute step right here to send our feedback, to send our client the email. You can see our node was executed successfully here. Now, when I open my inbox, you can see the negative feedback notification, email notification that we're sending our team right here. So here's the subject line, and here's the body of the email, where we are adding the sentiment, summary, issues mentioned, suggestions, and a conclusion to our email right here. This is the second email that we're sending to our team, to our client, thanking them for their feedback. So this is in response to their negative feedback that they submitted via our form right here. So we're telling them that thank you for filling out our form. We appreciate their suggestions, and we are actively looking to improve our services based on the suggestions that they submitted via our form right here. So our workflow works perfectly. So using this node here, we are capturing a client feedback that they have submitted via our form. So we are capturing their name, email, surveys, what they like the most about the experience, what didn't go as expected, any suggestions that they may have to improve our services, if they could change anything about the experience, if they recommend our services to others. And when this form was submitted, then we're waiting a few seconds to analyze their feedback using this AI agent right here, where the AI agent is analyzing their feedback and then it's giving us an output of their sentiment, issues raised, any suggestions, the summary of their feedback. Then we're waiting a few seconds and classifying the feedback either if it's positive or negative using our if else over here. If your feedback is positive, we're adding the feedback to our positive feedback sheet over here. Where we're adding the name, email, survey, sentiment, issues raised, suggestions, and the summary over here. Then we're notifying our team via email, telling them that we've just received a positive feedback from a client. Then we're waiting a few seconds to thank the client for submitting their feedback. If the feedback was classified as negative, we're adding the negative feedback to our negative sheet right here, where we're adding the name, email, survey, sentiment, issues raised, suggestions, and the summary. Then we are notifying our team that we got a negative feedback using this node right here. Then we're waiting a few seconds and thanking the client for their honest feedback that they submitted via our form. Now when I open our inbox, you can see the team notification email that we're sending to our team. So this is for the negative client feedback. This is the body of the email where we're sending the team, the sentiment, summary, issues mentioned, and the suggestions from the client. Okay, so we're notifying our team via this email. Now here is the thank you email that we are sending the client, thanking them for their feedback. Okay, we're also telling them we're sorry to hear that your experience didn't fully meet your expectations. We also appreciate your suggestion and the feedback. That's going to help us improve our services. Well, so this is the thank you email that we're sending to our client after they submitted the form and gave us the feedback on our services right here. So our workflow works perfectly. Thank you for watching. Now, if you have a workflow or an AI agent that you'd like for me to create using Anychan, just comment down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire workflow or AI agent from scratch using Anychan. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.